Coming from a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
And Shalonda.
Hey!
Hello.
I'm back.
Yeah. And Greg coming from a remote location here. So, hey. So, hey, Shalonda. So, what are you drinking? Let's start there because we got a lot to talk about with our guests.
Okay, so it's funny that my name is Afro Beer Chick, and as I was telling you guys backstage, I have no beer in my fridge for whatever reason. I haven't been beer shopping. I had just been lazy about it. So tonight, it is booze. I made a bourbon smoothie, and I used which bourbon did I use? Because I just grabbed one. Oh, it was the one from Microphone Collaboration. It was actually a rye whiskey, and this is boozy as hell.
As you do. I think that's kind of the way you make stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently Daniel thinks your smoothie looks amazing, so that's good. So, Greg, what are you drinking? It looks like a coffee cup.
Well, it's, I'm at a hotel, so we got the hotel cups. But I did snag this earlier. This wild ale, watermelon and peppercorn, dog.
What? Okay, that's interesting. I want to hear what that's like. You're gonna open.
I don't know if you do.
Okay, not a fan.
He said he passed.
So, y'all on this watermelon, it's just not. Just don't do it anymore. Don't do it. Don't do it. Watermelon seltzers, beers. Just stop. It's not horrible, Doug. But it's watermelon. I get the watermelon. I get more peppercorn. It's not really a balance. It's not great.
You know what's funny? I normally don't like watermelon flavored anything outside of the actual
out of the watermelon. Right.
But Greg gave me a bottle of watermelon, the brandy. I killed that bottle. I need another because that's actually really good. I need another one of those bottles. That bottle went into a smoothie one time. I was like, oh, okay, I'm at the end. Let me go ahead. Man, it was so good. I need another one of those bottles.
Okay. I need to get that too. It's right near me.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but this one it's not it done. And I paid. I'm not going to tell y'all what I paid for it either. We're not even.
Okay. Well, hopefully it wasn't a lot, but
it was. But look, I'm on vacation, Doug. You know how when you're on vacation, the money goes faster. You spend more on shit that you would never do before, during it. And you just justify it because I'm on vacation, even though it's like a 1 day vacation. Hey, Shalonda, what are you doing tomorrow? Real quick, Doug. I'm sorry, Doug. What are you doing?
That's okay.
What am I doing tomorrow?
Are you coming to Milwaukee?
What's going on in Milwaukee?
Oh, it's the Pilot Project Fest with Funky Town.
Oh, hell, I've been so tapped out. You know what? Okay, look. Let me tell y'all. Between getting the kid back to school and then I'm in school 2 or 3 classes. I've been so tapped out. So I didn't know nothing about that. I'm going to have to look at that. I'm only an hour away, so maybe that could be something for me to do.
That's why I'm here. That's where I'm at. That's why I'm here.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, well, maybe I have to make something shake and bake and pop up.
Yeah, maybe you can actually pick up some beer while you're there, too, to put in your fridge.
I didn't need to. I need to so bad.
You deserve that.
I do. I'm going to take that because, I need that. I need to.
We don't beer shame everybody, but we will beer shame Afro Beer Chick for sure.
Don't do that.
Yo, Doug, what are you drinking?
All right, so I'm going to pull another beer I got from Barrel and Flow. This is Taking 88 Back. This is a collab between Two Phrase and District 9 City Councilman Kari Mosley. So,
a Baron Flow Brew, right?
Yep. Got the little logo and everything on the back.
Okay. I remember that one, dog. Where'd you snag that one?
At the brunch bar where they were selling them. So
right.
So this is a shandy style ale with blood orange and grapefruit.
I forget that they sell those. That's not. I don't want me on there. Yeah, okay. Wait. What's he, Doug? Was he there?
Doug, did we lose you?
What you put me off screen.
I don't know what's going on. Really? Okay. Nice.
Yep. You got the little color going there with the barrel flow glass. Smelling shandy-ish.
Oh, I like this. Okay. Oh, this is all right. Okay. Cool.
Yum. It's like a very shandy style, very good to the style. The grapefruit's not as prominent as I expected because usually grapefruit is like all in your business when it's in anything. So for me anyway, but the blood orange and grapefruit combo is nice. Blends a citrus and a little bitter, so really super drinkable, really crushable. Only 4.5%, so very low on the ABV.
Cool.
Cheers.
I hope it's better than mine.
I think so. I'm actually, and I actually didn't pay. Well, I paid much less for this than you probably paid for that watermelon peppercorn thing. So,
wait. So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think watermelon and peppercorn will go together? I know. So as a drink, that's not something that's just no. That's a no. Just reading that, if I would have saw that, I would have been like, hell no.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you ever just buy something with the hope that it's going to be good? You know what I mean? Like you're almost manifesting.
But stuff that makes sense, though. That doesn't make sense.
It didn't.
For the record, I would have tried it anyhow just because I wanted to see how the hell they make watermelon peppercorn work, because that doesn't seem like it would work to me either. But
yeah, but I don't think you would have tried it at this price, but we're not going to go there.
All right. So my friend Orlando is an actual chef, and he's like watermelon and peppercorn. Like he's a professional chef, and he's like, "What is that combo?"
So real quick before you bring Jenny on, and actually maybe we could ask her this: do you ever go to a place like a brew pub or brewery, and you're like, "Wow, this place is great," like I did today, and then you get on your DMs, and people are like, "Wait, you were at this place?" And I was like, "Yeah." Oh, the owner, he's. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "What?" So then, yeah, like I need basically, Solange, I need a brewery avoid list.
See, I think that's what we different, because if somebody told me that any racist, I'm putting a name out there. You so nice. You better than me. That's growth.
Nice.
I don't have that growth. I'll be like, it's so and so.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you want me to say I'm cool? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
We won't know until it's put out there.
So I gotta know that the owner of Exporium Brew Pub is not a nice person.
Who?
Nice person in what way?
Wait, no. What's the Exporium Brew Pub?
Yeah, it's one of these in Milwaukee here. You ever been or off in the 3rd Ward?
My grandmother, I'm from the 3rd Ward, basically. My grandmother, born and raised, my grandmother was.
Yeah, Exporium. Yeah, Exporium. They've been into 2016. Rolled up there. I like their beers. I like their food. I like that in our group. And then I got some DMs that said that the owner isn't a jagoff, basically. And Trumper and all kinds of other things.
So here's the thing. I can do Trumper than I can the other BS. Like it's like, okay, you support Trump, go ahead. But what I'm not gonna support is you being the if you're a racist or you just misogynist, if you're going to deal with that, no, I'm not doing that.
Well, the DM implied that there was a whole bunch of other shit going on outside of the whole Trump thing, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
like, he fit the profile of, is what I was told. So, there you go. That's it.
Yeah. It's just like when, Black Beer Chick, Eugenia.
Yes.
Yeah, she was just here. She was just here last weekend. And oh my God, I'm glad they had the ball. But they were thinking about going down to Moody Tongue. And I was like, oh, hell no. We don't mess with Moody Tongue here. I'm trying to figure out how the hell they're still in business. I don't care about playing. There were some sexual assault issues with the owner, so we don't mess with them. I stand on putting that out there. I'm not scared.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said, if we don't know, then we don't know how to avoid them. So
exactly.
Yeah. All right. So it's been a bit. Poor Guess has been hanging out in the back over there. So why don't we get a little bit in here? So tonight we're going to bring on Jenny Pfäfflin, brewer at Dovetail, sake professional, certified Cicerone, lover of Japanese culture. I think like just a lot of things going on. Chicagoan, like our friend Shalonda here. So let's bring on Jenny.
Hey everyone. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks.
So what are you, or do you have anything that you're drinking?
Yeah, I'm having my shifty right now, so I'm having a little Dovetail Hellas.
Ah, look at you.
My favorite.
The Hellas, nice.
And thanks for repping tonight.
Yeah, look at Shalonda with the Dovetail thing.
Yeah.
The color looks awesome for you.
Yeah. I was gonna stop at Dovetail beer, but then I end up forgetting because I had to come home with her to walk the dog. So I was like, dang, it's a bourbon night. That looks like.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Jenny, why don't we start a bit with your journey to getting to Dovetail? How did you arrive at being a brewer there? Let's hear that story. I'm sure you've told it a few times, but for the folks that haven't heard it.
Well, I guess I've always been interested in beer and fermentation, and I was a home brewer for years. It's funny, I went to the University of Wisconsin where I was in the ag school, and I found my high school journal from when I decided I'm going to go to the University of Wisconsin. And in my journal I wrote I'm so excited to learn how to make ice cream, make cheese, and make beer. So I did one of those things. And I stayed, I tell my parents I'm still in the ag field. But so I've always been interested in fermentation and beer, and just being, it's just part of Wisconsin culture. From there, I became a certified Cicerone and ended up working for the Cicerone certification program for almost 10 years as an exam manager, which was really cool because I got to travel the United States and experience different beer scenes and how people operated their tap rooms, how people served beer, the type of beer that was being served around the U.S. And for me, I'm kind of a service geek. I like that experience. I like service. I really, I admire a great bartender. I think a bartender really can complete the experience of enjoying a beer. So I did that for a few years, but I always knew I wanted to be on the production side of the industry. And it just so happens that in Chicago, and Shalonda is familiar with this, there's this area called Malt Row. And in Malt Row, there's a couple of train lines that run through it. And one of them is the Metro line, and one of them is the Brown line. And my office at the time at Cicerone overlooked the train tracks, the Metro line, to the other side where there's this row of industrial buildings. And one day I was looking outside my window and I saw it looked like brewing equipment, but it wasn't brewing equipment that I had ever seen in person before. And at the time, My boss was Ray Daniels, who created the Cicerone certification program. And he looked a little perplexed too. He thought, like, maybe that's a winery that's going in there, because it was, we learned later, they were open fermenters. So immediately I was like, what's going on over there? And I was at the time running this event that happened once a year called Brown Line Brews, just because in this area called Malt Row, there was all these breweries that were popping up. So at a local bar, we would, showcase these beers being made along the Brown Line, and it was kind of a social hour for people in the Cicerone program in the city. And then so I was like, well, what's going on over there? Because maybe they can be involved in those Brown Line brews. So I basically just walked in and introduced myself, and met Hagen and Bill, who are the co-owners and the brewers here at Dovetail. And they're really open-hearted, wonderful people, and immediately like brought me and my two coworkers, who also decided to crash their, like, they were still in the business of opening, and took us around and explained what they wanted to do here in the beer industry in the city. And immediately it just clicked for me. It was something that I was already very interested in, which was traditional methods. And they also had this vision for service. Again, like I mentioned before, I'm kind of a service geek. And yeah, that's it. And so introduced myself. They came to Brown Line Brews that year. I believe they poured some beer. If they didn't, they at least introduced themselves as like the new brewery on the block. And about a week before they were going to open up their tap room, they emailed me and said, hey, are you available, and do you have any friends available to help pour beer? Because at the time it was just the family. It was just Hagen, Bill, and their family that was behind the bar. And they're like, we just need some people to help us with the opening. And the rest is history. I haven't left since, and that was 8 years ago.
Wow, 8 years. Nice.
Yeah. So eventually, like after, like I started behind the bar, and Hagen to me is kind of a mentor, and he knew what I wanted to do in beer, and I wanted to be on the production side. So he and Bill gave me the opportunity to start brewing here, and that's it. That's how I got here.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Any follow-ups, Greg or Shalonda?
And how long you been at Jenny for, quick?
I'm sorry?
How long you been there?
8 years. So I was like the first employee outside of the family hired.
So Jenny, I have to ask, what is your favorite beer that you guys brew?
See, that's really hard. Always a hard question to answer. But for me, I would say I really enjoy brewing our Vienna lager. And it's also, I think, it's
my favorite.
my favorite beer to, like, if I'm having a shifty, usually most times it's going to be the Vienna lager. Just from like the brewing aspect of it, it's just such a wonderful, comforting smell when it's mashing time. I just love that smell. I've brewed now for so long that there's like certain sounds and in the brewery that I hear that make me very comfortable, and just like the rakes moving, and like, I don't know, it's just like that one is the most comfortable to me when I'm brewing that particular beer. I know it sounds corny. So I like that one as both brewing and both drinking.
Nice. I will say that during the pandemic, Dovetail did do some things where you could order.
Yeah.
And I actually ordered a 4-pack there, and I just got all classic styles because that was what I wanted to try. Because it's one of those things where, like, I feel like if you're brewing a classic style with classic method, you don't really have any place to hide. It's you make it, and it's got to be good, or it's not. So every one of those I had, I cannot remember all that I had. I remember I definitely got the Pilsner. I definitely got the Helles. And I'm not sure I got the Vienna Lager, though. I'm not sure I picked that one. But I remember having it, and I was just like, this is all great. It made me jealous that I wasn't close enough to go buy them.
Where are you based right now?
I'm out of upstate New York. So
Okay.
so it's like, I was like, oh, cool. I can order, because that was like a brand new world in the middle of the pandemic.
Right, it was. And it's a shame, like, you know, it was like this very temporary window that breweries were allowed to do that kind of shipping. And now it's illegal again. Now we can't do it again.
I feel like they need to bring that back.
You know, yeah, there was like some movement with the local Brewers Guild to do some lobbying downstate, and I believe it was on a bill maybe like last year, and I don't know what happened to it. And it would be, and I understand, like, there's a lot of pushback from distributors, but it's such a small amount of beer that I think, of course, I'm speaking as a you know, a brewery right now. Just, you know, like, it wouldn't be that much beer. You can't like compete with distributors the amount of beer that you would ship. But anyway, that's my you know, my rant for tonight, I guess. Maybe one of my rants.
Yeah, one of them. You're allowed multiple rants. We're good with that.
So Judge, real quick, for those who don't know Dovetail as well as I think the people on the panel, can you talk about, you touched on a little bit on your intro about it. Can you talk about Dovetail's overall theory or overall
philosophy?
Overall theme, actually. Theme as far as what beers you do, and then speak a little bit to the process, because y'all got a complex one down there.
So one of the things we like to say here that I think really encapsulates what Dovetail is about is we brew like monks, minus the vows. So we definitely adhere to traditional methods, and we only brew continental European styles. But that's not to say that we are, you know, a Reinheitsgebot brewery. We're not bound by the German purity law. I think what we do in a way is we make very traditional beers in a modern way. And we do that a lot through, like, maybe the hops that we're choosing, or even the malt bills that we use. So that's kind of like Dovetail in a nutshell. Is you know, I think we're people usually call us a very German brewery, but that's not us at all. Like, we brew Belgian styles, we brew Czech styles, we brew ales too. We're not just a lager brewery. We have a whole bunch of Hefeweizens that we enjoy brewing. We'll brew doubles, and lambic styles as well, spontaneously fermented beers, like you might see the barrels behind me has held our spontaneously fermented beers before. But as far as our methods, so both Hagen and Bill are master brewers. They went to the Siebel Institute here in Chicago, which also has a sister program called in the Domens Academy in Munich. And both of them, even though being Chicagoans, didn't know each other until they met in Munich. And they realized when they met and were traveling around on their study, they like to call, like, they're like, I don't know, they always have the same joke about beer school, like, it's a real school. Like, we went to, you know, we had all this homework to do. But as they were traveling around, they realized there was like a commonality to the beer that they really were drawn to. And that was beer being made by usually like smaller family brewers and breweries that were employing a coolship. So I don't know if you know what a coolship is, but it's like this large, shallow pan, essentially. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It before modern mechanics, in a way to cool down wort very fast. And there's different ways that breweries do this today. You would cool your wort down in this very shallow pan. And what that does is like yeast is a very finicky thing. It doesn't like hot temperatures. It doesn't like very cold temperatures. So you wanted your wort to be a certain temperature before you pitched it. So we employ a coolship here for all of our beers, which is pretty unusual because I think most, especially American beer drinkers, if they're familiar with coolships, think of spontaneously fermented beer. And that's true because the wort will stay in the coolship overnight. And it's inoculated with whatever flora, fauna is in the air, magic. And that's what you essentially get, the spirit of spontaneously fermented beer out of. And then you put it in the barrels, and I think there's a lot of magic that happens in the barrels behind me. But we also do it for all of our quote unquote clean beers. All of our lagers go through it. Our Hefeweizens go through it. Any beer that's made at Dovetail goes through this coolship. And for them, when they were in Munich, they thought there was like this certain harmony to the lagers that were coolshipped. So it was very important to them to like make this a central part of their brewery. And so there's multiple reasons why the coolship, I think, is beneficial to our beers. Again, there's that harmony. It allows it to settle, like the hop break settle just enough, so you get a little bit more clarity out of it. And then you're also able to blow off what is called a precursor of DMS. DMS is a very common off flavor that can form in beer if you don't have like a rigorous boil or anything like that. It tastes like cream corn. It's usually very kind of rare to find in commercial beers, but you can find it sometimes. And also there's like additional benefits that from our coolship that we use, like hot side hopping. So we use it to put more hops. It's like this year we decided to do a series of Hopfen lagers. So we'll throw hops into the coolship. We just did our first wet hop lager, which was very cool for me. I love it when we're able to, for stuff that's new to me, like introduce a new ingredient or a new process. So we were just able to do that. So that's a very like unusual part of our brewery that there's a few coolships that you might find in American breweries these days, but most of them are using it for spontaneously fermented beers and not using it in the German and Czech tradition. Another thing that they really believe in is open fermentation. Like I said, going back to like when I was like in my office at Cicerone and seeing these vessels come in, they were open top fermenters, which I had never seen before in my career, at least not in person. Like it was something that I had only seen in books. And it's something that was more commonly used in the wine industry rather than the brewing industry at the time. So they believe in open fermentation as well, which is also very traditional, very unusual. And again, it goes back to, what will coax out the best of the beer. And when you're using open fermentation, there's like a lot less stress that you put on the yeast. So stressful yeast is like people, like all they want to do is eat sugar, reproduce, and, party. And we don't want to put stress on the yeast. So that allows it to, especially with our Hefeweizens, produce like really beautiful esters and phenols, a really good balance of that. But also what allows us to do on our lager side is when there's kreuzen, which is basically the active fermentation that comes to the top, it'll carry polyphenols and proteins that are usually, if it was a closed fermentation vessel, would reabsorb into the wort or at that time it's beer, and produce like bitter attributes to the beer. So we're able to like scoop those out by having an open top fermenter. We can scoop them out, and it's just a really lovely like roundness and really gives it the ability to really showcase the malt character, the heart of the malt in that beer. Did I answer that question? I don't know. I was.
No, that was great. It was like a like an education going on there. That's good.
There's like this new meme popping up on like I think it's Instagram or TikTok. It's like this and I feel like I'm a yapper. So I've discovered I'm a yapper through social media. Sorry.
Okay.
You're in good company here.
Yeah, we're all yappers. So, hey, Greg, I'm going to ask. This question came up from Orlando, and this is a good one to ask. Since beer takes so long to get to the final product, how many batches does it usually take to get what you want? And how often are you halfway through fermenting when you realize you should have gone a different direction?
So funny thing about Dovetail is we don't have a pilot system here. So every pilot batch that we do here is 25 hectoliters, which is 21 barrels, which is a lot of beer. So there have been times where we have not been happy with the beer that we made. One example is this right here. We thought we missed the mark. This is our newest, we have a core 4. This one's about to become core 5. This is a Pils. It's different from our Czech style Pilsner. It's a little lighter in body. It's hoppier. It's drier. The first iteration that we had, that we brewed, we thought we missed the mark in the way that it just wasn't different enough from the Czech style Pilsner. So we just ended up not really releasing it. We just went back to the drawing board and reformulated it until we got something that we were happy with. So it happens a lot. And unfortunately, one day, hopefully, we're able to do this on a smaller scale instead of brewing an entire batch and then having to maybe say goodnight to a batch that isn't up to our standards.
So that was a drain pour.
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't a bad beer. It wasn't a bad beer by any means.
Mm-hmm. It just wasn't what y'all wanted.
It just wasn't what we wanted. Yeah, it wasn't what we had in mind when we drew up the recipe.
I don't think a lot of people realize how much y'all do that, or how much certain breweries do it. And I know Shalanda. I'm not trying to call Shalanda out, but we know breweries that don't do that actually. And then they'll put the beer out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. So like, there's a level. You know what I mean? Some breweries don't have that integrity, if that makes sense, because. From what I know about Dovetail, I mean, y'all do good, but y'all ain't respectfully like Bell's or, Sierra Nevada or anything like, big, huge, So like those batches cost money, and those batches make a difference in the balance sheet. That's a lot of material, a lot of manpower, a lot of labor, a lot of everything going into one batch of beer. And y'all just like, look, this isn't our standard. So
yeah, it sucks. We did one that. Me and our production manager, Brittany, were really excited about. It was going to be like a smoked Vienna, but the malt that we just used too much. Like it was a new malt for us, and it was so astringent and just not the smoke profile that we were looking for. And we were so sad that we had to basically put that one down the drain. But it happens, and I hope one day that we're able to have a smaller system to do more, efficient recipe development on it. But I've got to say, like, the reason that, and not to sound like cocky about it, but I think with the leadership of Hagen and Bill, like the knowledge that they bring to the table and the fact that they know exactly what they want to do means that we're knocking a new recipe out of the park, or very close to out of the park. Like we're getting like maybe a triple in the corner. I think that's a reason why we're pretty successful when we do get to release a new recipe.
Nice. So our guy Victor also said earlier that he lives like 10 minutes from Dovetail and he keeps forgetting to go get beer there. But
Oh, Victor, what's up?
come on, Victor.
Come on, Victor. That's me for a beer. I'm also 10 minutes away from Dovetail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like 10 hours. That's just disrespectful.
I mean,
Hey, Shalonda, what did you pour, Shalonda? I saw you pour something else. What did you pour over there? Let's hear it.
I pour Barrel Seagrass. So it's a rye whiskey finished in Martinique rum barrels. So yeah, I'm drinking
Martinique rum barrel. Ooh.
They make a whiskey called Dovetail too, which has definitely caused some confusion.
Let me tell Nick this so we can go grab a bottle.
Doug, what's going on over there, Doug?
Well, I have another Barrel and Flow beer. That's not a Barrel and Flow collab, but I got it at Barrel and Flow. This is Clean Sweep. It's a Pilsner from Two Locals. Mm-hmm. So got my little Pilsner or Kettle glass.
West Philly's own Two Locals. Yep. Yes. The pride and joy of West Philly. Pride and joy of West Philly. Like yours truly. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Head of that. Look at that.
Damn, I wish I had more beer in my fridge.
So the thing is, like, I love drinking beer like this. The problem is when you have a mustache and a beard, that shit like sticks to my face like I'm drinking milk when I'm a little kid. It's like no mustache. So yeah, this is I'm not sure. It's not quite as crisp as I was expecting, but I'm not sure when it was canned. It was canned. Oh, it was canned on practice, 7/29/24. So not terribly long ago.
No. Jenny, we got a question for you here. You can see it, right?
Right, I can see that. So that comes from lactobacillus. So it's basically it's an introduction besides traditional brewing yeast. Brewing yeast does not usually or should not be producing lactobacillus. So for Berliner Weiss and Goza, you are introducing lactobacillus into the beer as well as part of the fermentation. And lactobacillus, if you're not familiar, is also a very common flavor that you'll get in yogurt. So it's that kind of like Greek yogurty flavor that you'll get into the beer. So pretty simple.
Are those styles that you brew at, have ever brewed at Dovetail?
So we haven't brewed a Goza yet. We did brew a Berliner Weiss last year, and it was kind of a little pet project of mine. There's a brewer so Berliner Weiss is actually kind of a dying style. And you can't find it too much around Berlin anymore. I was in Berlin probably right before COVID, and it was kind of like my treasure hunt was to go around and see what kind of Berliner Weisses I could drink. And there's one brewer, and she's making traditional Berliner Weiss. Her name, the brewery's name is Schnulli, which I think is White Owl in German. I probably totally murdered that. For having a very German last name, I speak very little German. So she makes a very traditional Berliner Weiss with Brettanomyces added to it. And what we did is very similar to what she does is we brewed the beer. It's very low alcohol, very tart, really great in the summer. So when we did release it, we released it, and another going back to being like a service nerd. There's the service tradition with Berliner Weisses is, some people would think it was too tart, so they would add Woodruff syrup, which is like this very kind of like earthy, sweet. It's usually bright green syrup to it, or they would add raspberry syrup to it. So you would order your Berliner Weiss red or green. So what we did, which I thought was pretty cool, again, we modernized this kind of service tradition, and we had a bunch of our bartender friends make syrups for it. So we had like a little syrup bar, and you could order a Berliner Weiss and kind of doctor it up how you'd like. So we did put away a few of those kegs because there is Brettanomyces in it to age and see how it changes. So I think we hope to like maybe put those kegs on later this year, maybe early next year when we're all bored and we're in our winter doldrums and we need something to do, and see how it's tasting and invite our friends, our bartender friends out again and make some syrups.
Yeah, Dan asked, there's a lot more wheat in a Berliner Weiss too.
Oh yeah. So it's a Weiss beer. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Also, I agree with Daniel. He said that a syrup bar would be pretty fun. Shalonda, I feel like you and your cocktails would be like all down for having like a simple syrup bar of just all these different things, because you make these really interesting combinations that I'm not sure other people will put together, and they work.
Well, one thing about it, I won't use watermelon and peppercorn.
Yeah, somebody else earlier asked if you thought that watermelon and peppercorn should go together in a beer, Jenny.
I don't know. I mean, watermelon's really interesting because I'm assuming like most of it's probably artificial watermelon that's coming through, because watermelon itself will just ferment away till nothing. Like you can't taste anything.
Right.
Like pumpkin you can't really taste once it ferments away. So peppercorn, I don't know. I'm a big fan of watermelon and salt. Like I love salting my watermelon I would do a watermelon goza. There you go.
Which I've had those and those are pretty interesting and good. So yeah.
Yeah, in my fridge now I have like 5 different simple syrups that I've made for whatever reason. Like I still have a peach cobbler syrup, which, oh my God, it's probably my favorite of them all that I've made.
Was that brown sugar and peaches?
Yeah, so what happened was I made a peach cobbler, and then I had so much syrup. I was like, you know what? I can use this syrup in cocktails. And like I recently just made like peach cobbler muffins, experimenting, and I put some of that syrup in it. Oh my God, it's so good. So yeah.
All right. Well, one of the things that I'd like to get to, if we could, because I'm super curious about this, is Jenny is a certified sake professional. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
All right. So we on the show have never talked about sake. We've never had anybody else drink sake on the show. How in the world did you get to that, to doing that, and what spawned your interest in that?
Well, the short answer is COVID.
Short answer for a lot of things is COVID anymore, but yeah.
So during, when things were shut down, of course, I think all of us collectively were just kind of looking, how do you, like, there's just a general mental health crisis, right? Like, how are we going to get through this? So I wanted to, I've always, again, going back to like being interested in fermentation. I stopped homebrewing beer just because I just didn't really have the time. I live in a Chicago apartment, and it just wasn't really like conducive to my lifestyle anymore as far as like brewing beer at home was. So I started brewing a fermented Korean rice beverage called Makgeolli. And it's basically steamed rice and a starter called nurek, it's like spontaneously fermented rice in a way. And it's I'm simplifying it a lot. Again, it's a very lactic, very funky, very cool, I think, fermented beverage. So I was like brewing Makgeolli for a long time. And a kind of on a similar scale that I think I've always been intimidated by is sake. So sake is a fermented rice beverage as well. And during COVID, I was just looking for something to do. I was looking for like a new hobby or something to learn. And there is a man by the name of John Gottner, and he is probably the most well-known Western expert in sake. He's the one that can teach sake and speaks English. He started, he was just trying to keep his education business going. So he started doing his certification courses online. And I was like, I'm looking for something to do. So I would log in, and I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks, and I would learn about sake. And it was a lot of fun. John is a very thoughtful and engaging teacher. He's like just a really good guide for sake. I knew, like, at the end, I was going to this little bottle shop in Chicago to get my sake, called Konbini and Kampai. Eventually I was like, well, I don't know what else I'm going to do here. So I kept going back until I asked for, I was like, I'm spending so much money here. Do you guys need any part-time help? So I work at a little sake shop on the weekend. And that is a way for me to continue my education in sake, because I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert in it in any means. But it's just been a lot of fun to learn something new and learn something that's like in my wheelhouse of interests of fermentation. But also there's a lot of service aspects to it that I really enjoy. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's how I ended up becoming kind of a sake nerd in the past few years. It's definitely something new to me.
Yeah. Have you ever had any sake, Shalonda or Greg? Because I have had a handful of it, and it's never been good sake. I imagine, because I got it at places that I wouldn't suspect would have good sake. All right, neither of you have had sake?
No, I can't say I have.
Okay.
Not really.
Yeah. I did. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, a couple times, not much though. I mean, not enough for me to remember it, really.
Yeah. I did read somewhere where it did is apparently like good sake is served. Is it served hot or cold? I guess there's good. I can't remember.
So this is one of those like kind of myths. Like it's almost like a beer myth where like you can't have beer at room temperature, or you can't take beer out of the cooler and have it at room temperature. And no, it's all about extremes, right? And it's all about. I think there was like this. There's this myth that warm sake, like the sake that you might usually get in a sushi restaurant, is bad sake. That's not necessarily the case. It just might not be the right sake to be warmed. And sake could be enjoyed at all temperatures, because like brewing, it's called brewing. Like you brew sake just like you brew beer. Except you're using koji instead of heat or malting and heat to kind of break down the starches into sugars. So there's a bunch of things that impact sake in the same way that impact beer. You have your water, you have your rice, you have your yeast, and you have your koji. Hi, Pumpy. So I think there's like a lot of there's just not a lot of knowledge around sake in the United States right now. And I think as there's more sake focused shops and sake focused bars and sake breweries that are opening up in the United States, I think we'll get there as far as like, can this sake be warmed or not? It's just a matter of going out there and tasting sake, and it's a way of knowing like, all right, this is like the IPA of sakes. It's a lot of volatile hop compounds or it's like the lager of sakes, where or something that's like a stout, which has a lot more weight and heft to it, where you could heat it up and you're not going to blow off volatile compounds when you do warm it up. But yeah.
Nice. So is that Shalonda? Is that cinnamon? I forget. Is that the pup you have?
No, this one is Chardonnay. Cinnamon
Chardonnay,
is
that's right.
Yeah. So this is Raleigh's daughter. Raleigh and Nutmeg's daughter. It's crazy. So you have Raleigh who's 98 pounds and Nutmeg who's 8 pounds, and then this is their baby.
Yeah. And for the record, Jenny, Nutmeg was the mom, and she's 8 pounds.
She's bigger than a mom. She's like 15 pounds. She's bigger than her mom now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I took her to Dovetail. So we're trying to make at least one brewery dog because the parents are assholes, so they can't go anywhere. So I have to have at least one brewery dog outside of those two. So it's going to be her. She knows how to behave so far.
That's good. At least you got one you can take around and take to the brewery. So that's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Anything that you and Greg and Shalonda, do you have anything else to say? Because I've been kind of hogging the questions, so I feel like I'm.
How about sake?
No, I can't say I know much about sake. So
That's fair. That's fair.
Right. Doug, if you're done with sake, I can go a different direction for sure.
Yeah, sure. Like it was just something that I would love to actually try it and learn what it's about. But
there's you said you're in upstate New York, right?
Yeah.
So Desai, which is one of the most influential sake breweries in the world, opened up a brewery called Desai Blue in upstate New York just a few months ago.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to look that up. Greg, while you go, because I'm going to look that up for you.
Yeah, Doug's losing his third space brewery, so he needs a new place to go.
There you go.
I don't want to, but so Jenny, part of your background that intrigues me. There's a lot there, but the one thing that intrigues me is your work with the Cicerone program. Can you, because I don't think we've ever had a Cicerone professional on this stream. Can you explain to everybody just a little bit a cliff notes of the Cicerone program, and then why do you think it's important for the overall beer industry? Why? What does it mean? All that. Yeah.
So basically, Cicerone in a nutshell, and I think it's like more commonly described as like a beer sommelier, because I think sommelier is a word that people are familiar with. So a Cicerone is somebody who, and there's several levels to it, who is certified to sell and serve beer. Does that mean you can't sell and serve beer without the certification? Absolutely not. But it's a tool to use. It's an education to use to kind of give yourself a baseline of beer service. And why I think it's important is there's a lot of really good beer out there that suffers from bad service. So there's like this Czech proverb that I really like. So over in the Czech Republic, bartenders are kind of rock stars over there. They're called tapsters. But there's this Czech proverb that goes, it's the brewer that makes the beer, but it's the bartender that completes it. And I think there's something really profound about that. Without it being like corny or anything like that, but there are so many people involved in the process of you as a customer sitting down and getting the best beer that you can enjoy. Because obviously, why it's important again is like, as we know, going out and having a beer is not cheap anymore. Like if you're paying $9 or whatever for a half pint or a half liter of beer, I want to make sure that's a good beer. Not only is it a good beer from the brewing sense of it, that was brewed with intention, that was brewed with really good ingredients, that was brewed by people who know how to craft a good beer, but I also want to make sure that those lines are clean, that glassware is clean, that the person pouring the beer knows how to pour a beer with a proper head, because, I think there's like this, this for years and years, like foam was seen as an enemy. Like, can you just top it off? There's so much foam there. Like, you're ripping me off. Like, give me some more beer in there. When foam is really an integral part of enjoying beer, right? It's the part that releases aroma and really also looks, we drink with our eyes as well. It's what makes beer look attractive. So there's that aspect of it. And I think that's basically why I think the Cicerone program is important, because, again, you're spending your hard-earned money on a beer. You want to make sure that that beer is the best beer that you can drink. Also, beer should be easy. Like, you shouldn't have to worry about whether or not there's a clean glass, whether or not there's a clean line. You just want to sit down and enjoy that beer, right? Like, beer should be easy. And that's the other thing too. Like, you deserve to have somebody to talk to you in a way that explains maybe the menu to you, or can talk to you and guide you to the best beer that you also can enjoy. And I think there's that. Again, like, I don't think certification is the end all be all. Like, it's not somebody who is certified Cicerone does not necessarily is not necessarily a better server than somebody who isn't. I just also think that it is a way to get that kind of baseline knowledge needed to have that really great beer in front of you. Another aspect of having Cicerone certification is, I think, levels the playing field. I think we hopefully are moving on beyond, white males in the industry just getting the pass. But I know for people of color and women, like, it took having a Cicerone certification to even get that email back, to even get that phone call back, to be worthy of serving beer in an establishment. So that's the other part, I think, of the importance of Cicerone certification.
I'm into that.
ABC, you got anything? Follow up? Anything?
No, everything she said was very correct. It's like, we, as women of color, we have to go the extra mile to be taken seriously. I mean, not just in beer, just in, even in life. Like, for instance, like right now, I'm in IT. I have to have so many certifications that my counterparts do not have to have in order to be taken seriously. Right now, I have certifications that our director don't even have for me to even be considered mediocre or average in the industry. So when I talk to people in the beer industry, when I talk to, Black women in the industry, they say, yeah, I have to have this, Cicerone certification for people to even call me back. That's the real thing. And it shouldn't have to be that way, but it is.
I agree. Yeah, it shouldn't have to be that way, but it's an aspect of having that on your resume or your CV.
Yeah. So there's something that I wanted to ask, and it just escaped my brain, which is the curse of being a 52-year-old man. So forget so easily anymore. I know what it was. You were talking about foam. And it's something like, I tend to do heavy pours, and people always give me shit in the show because I heavy pour, and sometimes I'm not even heavy pour. I'm just pouring it standard. So whatever. What's your opinion on the slow pour Pilsner thing?
I mean, if it brings people into beer, I mean, again, like, if it looks beautiful, if there's a little pomp and circumstance that you like, there's a little show to enjoy with your beer. Yeah, why not? Like, does it open up aroma? Sure, it could. I don't have much experience with, like, that style of pouring. Like, I haven't spent enough time around it. I have a really funny story though, is like, I went to this brewery, and so they had like their Pilsner, and then they had a slow pour version of it, like for $2 extra. And I was like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna pay for extra service. I'm going to pay for the fun of it. And so I saw the bartender like meticulously pouring this Pilsner, and every few minutes she would go by and she would top it off, and there was a shift change. And the next bartender just went and dumped the foam and just like topped it off and then just handed it. It was just hilarious. It was so funny. But like there goes my $2 down the drain. There goes all the foam that she was building on. But that's not to say I spent some time I was fortunate to spend some time in Prague and in Pilsen, and where Czech style service is definitely a thing, and really being able to experience like these very trained bartenders who know how to use the Lucre style faucets, which is just a brand. So like just the side pull faucets, and how that impacts mouthfeel, how that impacts the aroma that you get out of beer. We also, I went to Japan last year, and like the Czechs, there are some Japanese bartenders who really revere beer and have certain ways of pouring beer that really impacts the way that the beer is experienced as well. And that was really cool to be able to experience and see. So the slow pour stuff, I have less knowledge about, but I do know like there is an impact to foam, and there's an impact to the way that service is established out of that. So.
Yeah, I will say the slow pour Pils is an extraordinarily pretty glass of beer. Like a really tall, narrow, almost like a Collins glass that's like really elongated, and the foam like goes over the top. It looks gorgeous. One of the best ones I had was I was visiting my son in Denver area, and we went to Bierstadt, which is in Denver, and they had a slow pour Pils. That was superb. It was crisp. Yeah. It was delicious. But that's also very much like Dovetail. They brew very much all those styles of beer. The what did you call it? The European. Sorry, you mentioned
European styles.
Yes, that's what they tend to brew, and all of them are good. But that slow pour Pils was really nice. They also are very big on trans and gay rights, so that was a big plus for me too. So, yeah.
I guess the only thing the only criticism I have of slow pour Pils is a lot of these slow pour Pils that I've seen like online or whatever are being poured out of Czech style side pull faucets or Lucre faucets, and those are built for speed. They're not built
for slow.
Like you could you don't need to spend all that money on that faucet to do a slow pour. Like those side pull faucets are meant to be like, if you've ever been in a Czech beer hall, they're like just knocking those out like one after the other. It's pretty incredible.
Question for you.
Oh, Pils in Love. I did not go. I was not there. But my colleagues that went said it was a ton of fun. And it was our introduction. So Dovetail up until basically this year has been only distributed to the Chicagoland area, and then some of Wisconsin, mostly Milwaukee area. So you might see some Dovetail out there, Greg, and then Madison. But earlier this year, we started shipping our beer to DC and Virginia and New York. So Love and Pils was kind of
New York City, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, NYC. I don't know how far north we're getting. But so Love and Pils was kind of like our introduction to the market. So I was not fortunate to go out there. Maybe they'll send me out to New York one day.
Doug has a third beer, and then I have a question. And then we can.
All right, so I'm going to go to Jenny's Wheelhouse, actually. And thanks to Greg, you gave me this beer at Barrel and Flow. Working Draft. Their Tracksuit Riot Czech Style Dark Lager.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4.6%, very low ABV, but man, I love a good dark lager. So thank you, Greg, for giving me this one.
Yeah, working drafts is good times.
Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
I apologize. My glass is dirty, so I tried to clean it beforehand. I did not do a good job. So, but as you can see, nice little foamy head on that.
Oh, it's
Dirty glass, gang. We haven't said that in a while, Greg.
look at that. That's good. Love it. I love it.
That smells good.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I have fun with that one. Danny, what are you? Oh, sorry.
That is super tasty. Thank you, Greg. That is delicious.
Yeah, Jenny, real quick, what are your favorite Madison breweries?
Oh, I guess Working Draft would be up there. I think they're very much like in line with what we, we're two peas in a pod in a way. I've got to be honest, I'm less familiar with the Madison brewing scene than I used to be.
Okay.
I was when I was up there. There weren't very many breweries, to be honest. There
When was the last time you were up here running around? Oh wow! Okay.
Probably pre-COVID.
Okay.
I haven't been able to get up there in a long time. I want to say like One Barrel was around.
One Barrel's gone.
I drank a lot of a Great Dane, which is interesting because they just opened up a brew pub in Japan.
Yeah.
I thought so. I used to hang out there a lot.
We got I should send you. I got a virtual tour. With my Badger Beer Hour show, we got a virtual tour of that place. Actually.
Oh, cool.
It was cool. It was really cool. Oh yeah. All right. So when I have two females who are in the beer industry or beer adjacent, I always want to ask the dumbass question of not the dumbass one, but the women in beer question. I always want to ask that one. I would like to frame because I would like to frame it in this manner this time. Jenny, specifically Jenny, and ABC could answer this one too. But Jenny, for a woman who might catch you or catch this stream and might have an interest in beer, can you speak to them just speak to the women who are curious about beer, about entry ways into this? It could seem very intimidating. It was intimidating to a black guy trying to walk into breweries. You know what I'm saying? It could be really intimidating. I'm pretty sure you probably have felt this. I mean, the people at Dovetail seem to be awesome to you, but still on some level, there's always that, that feeling, that vibe, not only goes beyond a feeling or vibe, it literally comes into, all the workplaces where women are just not treated as equals, period. Right. So can you speak to just an entry point or just a way that, to inspire women or to say, hey, this is a pathway or this is how you do it or this is, tips or something like that. I don't really even know how to express the question, but I think there's a level where, because I feel this as a black man in some areas where I'm like, man, I don't know how to, I would like to engage, but I don't know where how do I move and put myself in a position where I can be successful doing this?
I think one way to do that is you can tell when you walk into, and this is like if you were somebody who wanted to get a job, say in a tap room or a brewery, is like, I think you can tell right away if you feel comfortable there or not. And it's the way that people, the people behind the bar talk to you. And then the people that you see come into the tap room as well, or the bar or the space, like beer bar and space. And one example that I can think of that was I was spending a lot of time in St. Louis a long time ago. and Side Project was one of the breweries that I would visit. And every time I went to Side Project, it was women behind the bar. And it just made me feel very comfortable. And the way that they talked to me about the beer was, it didn't make me feel like, I did not, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know, and they didn't make me feel like that at all. And I just think, I don't know, it's such a lame answer, but you kind of just go off of vibes, and you can tell right away, like if the ownership is, shitty towards women, or shitty towards people of color, or not like inclusive or thinking about those experiences, I think that really is expressed in the service as well. And I have found those spaces, and I've been in the spaces where I know I don't feel welcome. I don't feel comfortable there. And
Jenny, how does that look though? What can you exactly tell me how that or what does it look like? Is it like rudeness from them? Is it just like, those little bad service things that you do?
It's rudeness. It's I think there's a difference between maybe just service and hospitality, and you don't get the hospitality end of it. You don't get the engagement, and it doesn't have to be like, they don't have to be your best friend or anything like that. It's just a gut feeling you kind of get, I think, when you walk into a space and you immediately feel like, all right, I'm a woman, or I've had friends who are trans who immediately say like, nah, like I can't be here. I like, this is not the space for me. And I think it's just a matter of feeling hospitality versus just getting service.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I kind of like, and that's how I make the decisions about places that I hang out. And sure enough, if you follow the tree of, up to ownership,
Mm-hmm.
usually it makes sense. It makes sense 9 times out of 10. That's not to say like there's places like maybe the place that you went to tonight, like there's probably like good people working in that tap room.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the ownership really sucks, and it's hard to make those decisions too. Like sometimes, like
yeah. So, yeah, one of my, I'm not really trying to talk about it now, but we can. But coming up to the election, there's a whole lot of shit going around. One of the things that people are talking about a lot now is trickle down theory. Now, trickle down theory, as we know, as a financial thing, is it's just not. It doesn't work that way. Period. There's been numerous studies, but Jenny, I think that there's a trickle down theory in like small businesses, if that makes sense. Like the environment and the the morality comes from the owner, but like the temperament kind of comes down too. So I completely agree with you when you say there's a vibe when you walk into certain places. Now, and I think that trickles down. I also think it trickles down in sports ball too. I think generally, if your owner is a piece of crap, your team is probably going to be a piece of crap.
No, you're wandering to Jenny's field here. Here we go.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So there's a trickle down there, but I did want to, unless Jenny has a response, I did want to get to Shalonda about this because it's one of the things that I've learned from ABC and I've gathered from ABC through all the years. When I was a little baby craft beer guy, Shalonda was one of my peoples that I gravitated towards, and I was just drawn to hear her opinion on certain things. So, Shalonda, I would like you to speak to this too. Jenny, if you have a follow up too, that'd be great. But just the vibe of going in a brewery, giving that feel, whether you feel comfortable there or not. I mean, you're in Chicago. Y'all got 80,000 breweries. So you can always go to a different new brewery. So speak to that, especially walking in as Black woman, not expecting Black women to know anything about beer, let alone the Black woman that just walked in knows more about beer and bourbon than all of y'all probably. So yeah, what's up, ABC?
I definitely agree with Jenny. It's definitely about the vibe. You definitely have to go in because when you first walk in, for me as the Black woman, they do look at like, and I will say this: Chicago breweries are great. I haven't had an ill experience here. It's when I go out of state and it's like, wait, hold up, and they'll see me come in, they'll look at me like, what is she doing here? Like I'm lost. Like I'm getting ready to ask for directions. But then when I ask for a stout or I ask for a lager or whatever, and I'm asking for it by name, and then they kind of like perk up, like, how do you know about this beer? For me is I like to be talked to, but not talked at. And there is a difference. Even outside from being a Black woman, I also judge breweries, and it's crazy, but other women probably feel me when I say this. The first thing that I do when I go into a brewery, I go into the bathroom. And the reason why I do that, maybe whether I have to go or not, I go into the bathroom because how they set up a bathroom in the women's bathroom says a lot of how they feel about women. So if you go in and you see all of the womanly essentials, they tend to cater more to their women demographic, which is what I appreciate. You do come into some breweries, they don't care. Like for instance, if I go into Revolution, if I go into Off Color, if I walk into those bathrooms, I know that they take the time to take those little bit of details to say, hey, we care about our women customers. And that says a lot to me, whether you're Black, white, blue, green, purple, it doesn't matter. They take the time to care. But I definitely agree with Jenny. It is about the vibe. It's about how the staff talks to you and not talk at you. The time they take to break down their beers and their stories and all that. You know what I'm saying? And I've come across some breweries that didn't want to give me the time of day. And I felt that vibe and I turned around and I walked right out. Like, I'm not going to give you my money if you can't give me your time. So it's I will say, like, I have gone to breweries with myself and, my counterpart, white women, and they've gotten catered to more. And yet I'm sitting here looking like, okay, well, what about me? And we've all walked out because of that vibe, because the vibe wasn't for me. But instead of now, I'm at the point where I'm not going to go back and forth with people. If you notice, I've been a little quiet on social media. I'm not going back and forth. I'm not going to raise my blood pressure with people anymore. I'm just not going to give you my dime if you can't give me your time. So that's where I'm at now.
That is a phrase we need to adopt in our Brothers and Booze lexicon.
That should be an ABC t-shirt.
Yeah, if you're not going to give me the time, I'm not giving you my dime. I love that. I will say, and this is as a white guy, I have the most privilege of anybody in this stream right now, and I'm well aware of that. And one of the things I've learned just from my wife, and I've been with her for 15 years, but I was really oblivious to just the way women have to walk through the world until I met her, and she made me aware of things. And Greg's met Jill. Jill's awesome. She's fantastic, but she is also a person that doesn't mince words and tells you just how things are. And I really dig that because I've been so oblivious in the past. But I think women kind of, from her perspective, she would say, I just kind of, when I go into a place, I need to know if the things feel off, I'm leaving. Like, because if it feels off, then it's off, and it's off for me. Then get the hell out. If your vibes are, if your spidey sense is going on saying this feels wrong, then, and if we go to a place and she said, I don't like this, let's go. I don't question shit. Let's get out. If you're not feeling safe, out. We're going.
Yeah. And Doug, let me jump off this real quick. This is something that it's not funny, but this is something that, this is part of the whole thing. Even as a Black man, I think I have to be more aware of my situation than you, Doug. But on some level, it doesn't even come to what ladies go through and what the thought process that ladies have, and then the vibes that ladies look for and have to look for when they're in these establishments. There's a level of male privilege where we just walk in and we don't really have to even feel the vibe. We're there. We're going to get our beer. We don't really give a fuck about you. We really don't care. Not that y'all don't have those vibes, but like, you know, the consequences are worse for y'all, and there's just more danger with women and than even remotely men can even, you know, it's just not comparable. And a lot of men just don't. We don't. We don't realize it. We don't understand it. We don't care. We don't. You know what I'm saying? What you say, ABC?
I was gonna say, I think what happens is a lot of men take their privilege for granted. You know, they know that they can do and say things, and you know, they can probably kind of get away with it. I mean, not so much as now as you were years before social media, because nowadays people are quick to pull out the cameras and expose people. And by the end of the day, depending on what platform you've gotten exposed to, whether it's, I'm never going to say X, Twitter, or TikTok, people will have your whole life, who you married to, your social security number, your job, all that by the end of the day. So, I mean, they still have to be careful, but then you have those fools who just don't care. So women, we still have to protect ourselves. You know, we have to protect our energy because of the fact that, in a sense, we're still not being taken seriously. So, yeah, there's that.
Jenny?
There's also the aspect of, you know, for every Doug and I who would pretty much step in and intervene and make sure that women are treated right, there's probably 3 or 4 guys who wouldn't. So there's that aspect, and we need to acknowledge that and keep that. You know, my anecdotal evidence is not, you know, like real. So, you know, it's just my anecdotal evidence, and so I want to speak to that too. So I don't mind keeping on the string here, but I do want to point this out here though real quick. I've done it before, but I'm going to do it again. Where is it? Come on. Here we go. So April Dove. April Dove is one of our best friends at Barrel Flow. Doug and I, we're attached at the hip. And I always like to say, I guess I would have met April Dove, but otherwise, maybe. But without ABC tweeting out about April's story that she saw, and then I hit April up on the side, I wouldn't even know who April Dove is. So again, I always thank ABC for that because that was just, you know, great. And you know, we love April here. She's our little sis.
I can't wait to see April in person. I'm looking for one day I want to meet April in person.
Yeah, I had my community shirt on April earlier today, going to my Trumper brew pub, so that was good. Anyway, Jenny, I don't know if you actually I think it's a good time because to talk about this. Actually, I wanted to Doug brought you on, and I kind of had something here, so I wasn't able to finish my thought. So now this is tricky because I went to this brew pub. I had a really good experience. I like the beer. I like the food. Then later I find out that whatever. So, I'm conflicted. Okay, because if I would have known the information I know now, I probably wouldn't have went and had that good experience then.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's this whole, and actually now that I know what I know, it didn't take away from my experience at all. Actually, not even 1 second. That was really great, and I would, you know, I still enjoyed that experience. I'm still going to remember it as a really good time at a really good place, and it was really nice, actually. So, but it really becomes conflicted, Jenny. And actually, what I wanted to say was, we have these diverse breweries, which I love, databases and stuff, because when I travel, I make sure that I try to hit as many as I can. They become the priority actually for me when I travel. But I also, like I was telling Solanda, I think I got to it. I wanted to get to it. I need like a problematic brewery, like database, because we're back to this. Because I just like say I'm going to Indianapolis, and I'm just like I pull up the map on Indianapolis, and I'm like, oh look, there's 6 breweries together. I'm going to all of them. Okay, so then I don't even get to like, are they friendly for me? Is there experience? Were they in the Me Too movement? Or, you know, were they like, Were they canceled? Are they big beer? It doesn't matter because Greg doesn't care. Greg just wants to go to 7 breweries in 7 hours. So, Jenny, how do you navigate this when you travel? Do you care? Do you prioritize different breweries? Do you not? And I understand, you already said, if you go in a brewery, you feel the vibe, you're out. If it's a bad vibe, you don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you do any research before you get there so you can, or no?
I mean, I think a lot of it comes from word of mouth, right? And for the most part, you have, I mean, that's inherently a trustful network that you have, and hopefully, people that have the same values as you are recommending the good places to go, right? And sometimes, yeah, there are certainly breweries that I avoid because either people I know have had bad experience with them, whether as a customer, as an employee, or as the industry itself has spoken out against certain breweries as well. Like, yeah,
Founders.
there you go. Yeah, exactly. And I think it comes down to like the strongest tool you have is word of mouth, and that trust that comes with it. Because all things considered, this industry is still relatively small, right? In a way. If there's a good brewery, hopefully the good stuff is the stuff that's showcased, and the bad stuff is not the ones that are getting the recommendations. But that we know that's not always the case, right? We know, and then there's a lot of things that we don't know. Like, it's kind of like, it is a little embarrassing sometimes to be like, hey, I really like this, whatever. I really like this t-shirt company. And then it says, oh, by the way, and you're like, oh, man, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to find another t-shirt company to really like. And yeah, it is like you feel, yes, it is a conflict sometimes, especially when you're like, yeah, I just really had a great time at this place. And like going back to, I think Doug said it, like, yeah, look, the Cubs, like, they're owned by horrible people, and unfortunately, I was born into
misery.
I was born into misery, and do I wish the ownership was different? Absolutely. Do I not like? And that's why I only buy tickets off the second market, and I never pay more than $20 when I can.
There we go.
Hey, can I make a point too, Greg, about this? Is also the idea, like, I can go to a brewery and I'm a straight white guy, and if I go in that brewery and I have a good experience, and I tell you I had a really good experience at the brewery, it was a good experience for me. I didn't get to view, I may not have gotten to view how they interact with people of color, women, like trans people. I may not have gotten the opportunity to see how they operate around those folks. Just me, like, and I'm look like every dude that goes to a brewery. So it's like I'm, yeah. Yes, Zach, we're aware my lighting is not great, and I'm pink. We get it. I look like a thumb. Thanks, Zach. Zach has entered the chat, everybody. Here we go with the nonsense. It's going to be fun. But yeah, I just wanted to make the point that sometimes you can make the recommendation for a brewery and be like, this brewery was a really good experience for me, but it might not be a good experience for you. But I didn't get to experience that, so I didn't get to see it. So, and my wife is pretty much an introvert, so going out to breweries is not, she'll go with me, but she wants to go to smaller breweries because less people. So, and yeah, I just, sometimes it's a little different in that I can have one experience and somebody else can have a completely different one. So it's a little hard to judge at times.
Yeah, I can't say we have too many here in Chicago. I mean, other than the one that I named earlier, which Moody Tongue, I'll say that again. I don't care. But I can't, if there are others, I don't know about it, and people need to put it on my map. But yeah, I think we have been pretty within the Chicago area. Now, mind you, we have now you go out to Chicagoland, that's including the suburbs, which is a whole different, which is the beast within itself. Because now you're talking about the surrounding suburbs of Chicago, and crazy as that sounds, that's also including Northwest Indiana. So yeah.
It becomes the wild, wild west real quick. Once you
Man, it's just what? It's just what? I mean, just think about it. Like the city of Chicago itself has like 77 different neighborhoods, and you're gonna find a brewery in a lot of those. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like neighborhood breweries. But then when you get to adding the land part, and I'm originally from the south suburbs of Chicago. I grew up and was raised in the south suburbs of Chicago, so we have breweries out that way. Now I live on the north side of Chicago, and we have breweries up this way. So it's like. It's so many to keep count. Like you can't stay on top of it all. So it's like we got to go about word of mouth. If something is going down at a brewery, that's why I tell people you don't know until people put it out there, and don't be scared to put it out there because, like I said, I'm not gonna waste my dime where people won't give me their time or respect at that point.
Good point by our guy Zach here.
Yeah.
Well said, Zach.
Yeah, the bathroom thing is really, that was on point. Yeah. I'll just leave. I'll leave that be. But this is a great time to segue. I think we're going to let Jenny go here soon. It's been fantastic. But before we do, though, Doug has a question, or Doug has a little bit of a question for you about Chicago food, Doug. And
before Chicago food, I have a Chicago beverage.
Oh, okay.
I want to, yeah. Y'all have something to talk about.
Malort.
Hold on, Doug. Hold on. Let me forget.
You had that before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Doug, tell everybody what it is, please.
It's gasoline.
Jepson's Malort liquor.
Okay. And what is that? Tell people who don't know what that is.
All right. I can't describe it well.
Maybe Jenny and ABC can.
Let me tell you. There are people who love Malort, and there are people who hate Malort. There's no gray area, okay?
I am the person who doesn't mind it. It's just like all grapefruit pith and grapefruit rind to me. Oh.
Doug,
Shalonda, you're talking and we can't hear you.
We lost you, Shalonda.
I can't hear you. There we go. All right, so here's this nonsense. So
look, I'm uninspired.
That smells like rubbing alcohol.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
There we go.
So there are people who love Malort and hate Malort. Jenny, you're on like that .0.00001. That's that gray area, right?
Yeah.
Malort to me.
Speaking of no nuance,
okay, so
Malort.
this is where I gotta touch into my Black community because unfortunately people in the counterpart community, they may not understand where I'm coming from when I say this. So if you had a great grandmother or grandmother who in the morning time made you take Father John's mixed with cod liver oil, that's what that shit tastes like. Time of 10. It's horrible. It's horrible. No, I'm good.
That tastes like turpentine. I swear to God.
Josh Knoll, who used to be the Chicago Tribune's beer writer, just wrote a book about Malort. I'm actually interested in reading it. I'm interested in hearing the story of Malort and how it became a Chicago staple, I guess, or a little
legend or something. Yeah. So, Doug, it tastes like what, Doug, again? Real quick.
I can't remember what I said.
Turpentine.
Turpentine, yeah. What's crazy? This thing tastes. This tastes like it should be grain alcohol, and it is 35% alcohol. It is not grain alcohol, and it tastes like it should be.
Jenny, so you like the grapefruit aspect? I'm kind of. Everybody thinks it's gross, and you like it, and you obviously have good taste in things. So what's going on?
I don't like it, but I don't dislike it. I rarely actually do shots.
Okay.
Actually, at Dovetail, we're a big Underberg house, and it's the same. It's the same kind of family of bitters where it's very herbal. It's a little bit more mentally. It doesn't have like the grapefruit pith that Malort has, but they love it here at Dovetail.
I can smell grapefruit on the nose. That I can smell. I cannot taste it. It just tastes like turpentine. That's the best way I can explain it.
You know how like they used to say on American Idol, it's enough for me, dog. It's enough for me. It's enough for me.
What is Underberg? Please explain that. I don't know what Underberg is.
Underberg is a German herbal liqueur. It comes in a little bottle. It's known as a food item to the government. So
okay.
So you can sell them anywhere. Like there's this, I don't know, Shalonda, have you ever been to Mertz Apothecary in Lincoln Square?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's awesome. It's been around since like the early turn of the last century. And it's an apothecary. So they have all this like great skin stuff, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but it's also a big Underberg house. And it's a German liqueur, and you're supposed to drink it after a big meal. It settles your stomach, or after you've been drinking a lot of beers. It makes room for more beers to be drunk.
So it's alcoholic Pepto-Bismol?
Kind of, yeah.
That's the quote of the day.
That's probably a good way to put it. Only it's brown. It's not pink.
Oh yeah, I agree with Fernet. Now I've had Fernet. It's like a minty.
Yeah, Ferment's very minty.
Yeah, it reminds you of like Listerine in a sense to me.
Yeah, Underberg is probably in the same family as Fernet.
Yeah. Also, thanks, Zach. I'm not growing my hair back. That's not happening. It's actually long for me. So, all right, all right. So it's time. It's time for food shaming. Sorry. We need to get to it. You guys, I got Shalonda and Jenny, both Chicago natives. So first, I want to start with hot dogs. Please talk to me about how you guys have hot dogs.
I have the Chicago way. I have to have it on a sesame seed bun with the sport peppers, with the relish, with the tomatoes, with mustard, no ketchup.
All right. I have it Chicago style as well, but I have it depression style.
What is depression style?
Depression style is also another, it's like a subcategory of Chicago style hot dogs. And that is just mustard, onions, and celery salt with fries wrapped up all into one.
Oh,
also
fries.
No mustard. I mean, no ketchup. But I'm not like an anti-ketchup person. I just think like if you want to have ketchup on your hot dog, like go for it. If you're having a Chicago style dog with the full dressing, ketchup is not needed. Like it's gilding the, but that's my favorite Chicago style dog. And then you can get those at like Gene and Jude's, Red Hot Ranch. Those are the two like depression style hot dogs.
It has to be that Vienna beef hot dog. It has to be the Vienna, it has to be the Vienna beef hot dog.
Can't be anything else.
The what kind of hot dog? Could you repeat that?
The Vienna beef. It has to be the Vienna beef hot dog.
Okay.
Natural casing, all beef.
So Rob asked, are you meaning fries in the bun with?
Yeah. So it's all wrapped up together, and you end up French fries.
Okay.
Now I haven't done it Jenny's way as far as the hot dog, but I have had it that way with the Maxwell Street Polish. Yeah, I've had it like that with the Maxwell Street Polish. So yeah, not too far off.
So there's the Maxwell Street Polish. Did I hear that right?
Oh man, let me tell you. So we used to.
Here we go. Let's go.
Okay, so we used to have an area called it's in the University of Chicago area. Back when I was a kid, it used to be called Jewtown. Jewtown is where you used to get the best Polishes. Now they still have a Maxwell Street stand That is still there, but it's all gentrified now. So but on this Maxer, you're gonna get the thick Polish sausage with grilled onions, mustard, sport peppers on a bun, and sometimes you get fries on the side, but I kind of throw my fries on it as well. So good, so good.
What kind of mustard? Is it the stone ground or what's the
No,
mustard?
yellow.
No, this is yellow mustard. It's the yellow mustard. Yeah.
Come on, dog. Give it the program.
No. All I'm thinking is like if you're getting a Polish style hot dog or brat or however you want to categorize sausage, like why is it not stone ground mustard? That feels like that should be a stone ground mustard.
The Polish itself is seasoned. You don't need all that extra. When you take a bite of that Polish, you're gonna take the seasonings in that Polish.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Like, yeah.
Doug, you lost.
Oh, that's okay. I don't mind losing. I'm just curious
So Jenny came in and said that she likes your glasses, by the way. I'm pretty sure I know she's talking to me, not any of you.
So don't let me go in there and start putting our glasses now. Because we both know I have some colors.
Well, these are Warby Parker. Because I live
above. Yeah, she's talking about y'all. Y'all too cool. She ain't talking about me. Anyway, I thought that was fun. Zach, my man, look at this. I had a Polish sausage, but I might have had mine low carb tortilla wrap and lettuce. That sounds amazing, Zach. Actually, it really does. I have to do that too. So I have to, but yeah.
All right. I have two more food questions before we let Jenny go. So sorry. Yeah. So if you're having Chicago pizza, does that mean deep dish or does that mean tavern style?
I love this question. So to me,
do what's right, Jenny. Do what's right, Jenny. We're Chicago now, Jenny.
One tavern style only exists outside of Chicago because if I'm ordering pizza, I'm ordering thin crust 9 times out of 10. However, I do like a deep dish pizza, especially when it's like February and the snow is falling and I'm not anti deep dish. I think if you're visiting the city, you should definitely try deep dish pizza. There's something about that butter crust, especially because I love the carbs. But I would say like for Chicagoans, and maybe you can tell me, Shalonda, if I'm wrong, 9 times out of 10, you're ordering just that thin crust pizza, which now the entire, outside of the Chicago area has been given the nomenclature of tavern style.
Yeah. So deep dish is a touristic pizza here in Chicago. We normally go for the tavern cut style. And then here's the thing, it's so funny. People always say, "Oh, I'm coming to Chicago, I gotta go to Giordano's." Giordano's, Luminati's, they're tourist pizza. You have to go into the neighborhoods to get really good pizza. Like for me up here, there's a spot called also we also like pan pizza. All right. So like up here, we have Millie's in the pan, which is amazing. That's like my favorite pan pizza. George's, which is also just down the street from me, which is great, which is another amazing pan pizza. But like there's a place called Nueva Italy around the block from me that has a butter crust. Man, that tavern style is just amazing. So we don't go to the neighborhood.
That is my favorite. That is my favorite deep dish. Is Nueva Italy. That's the one I ordered February.
I live right around the corner from there.
We were neighbors. Yes. That's so funny. But no, nobody. That's so funny. You said Nueva Italy because it's a little obscure. It's a little obscure because it's way up there.
Yeah.
But it is the best deep dish pizza on the north side.
I literally live right around the corner from Nueva Italy. That's where we order from. Their their butter crust pizza is just so freaking good.
All right. Yes.
All right. So we're making connections. So Shalonda knows that when Jenny orders pizza, you guys can go hang out.
That's how you know it's legit.
What are your guys' thoughts on? So you're saying pan pizza? For me, pan pizza is like Detroit style, like with that sort of almost Pizza Hut like deep dish pan pizza. I don't know if you've ever had
A
Detroit
little
style.
like fluffier crust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only difference, the Detroit style is cut in squares, where our pan pizza is cut in triangles.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
One of my favorite pan pieces, another one of my favorite pan pieces that are no longer was Gulliver's, which was up here in Rogers Park as well. They've closed down, which was amazing. So now my go-to is Millie's in a Pan on Argyle. It's so big. Can we get some Millie's in a Pan? I have to tell Nick, like, it's time. I need that.
It's funny, my dad's coming into town for Thanksgiving.
Style is Milwaukee style, no. Now you talking to somebody. Now here's the thing. Who just put that? Rob. Let me tell you something now. I basically grew up in Milwaukee in the 3rd Ward, 3760 North 3rd Street, in the hood on the north side of Milwaukee. Went to school on the south side of Milwaukee. Milwaukee style pizza is not a thing. Quit playing with us. It's not a thing. Stop playing. Stop playing.
I would like to say, as a resident New Yorker, that we have kind of a thing about pizza too, but it's a different style of pizza. Like everybody has their own style of pizza. It's like what's funny is I've heard people talk about Connecticut pizza, which seems like it should not be a thing, and I'm like, Connecticut pizza? I don't know what that is.
Is that the one with the cold cheese?
I think so.
Because I think that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Well, there.
I went to St. Louis in I think it was April. And then like we ran up with Brian of 134, which he and Chris were amazing. We kept hearing about St. Louis style pizza, and they were like, "No, don't go here, don't go here, don't go here." Like, well, how is the St. Louis style pizza if you guys just tell us not to go to these places? It was so interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to make a mention of the pizza that is the worst pizza I've ever had, and it's from Scranton, and I used to live in Scranton, and it was they have Old Forge style pizza, which is pizza made with American cheese on the top of it, and it is the worst fucking thing I've ever had as a pizza. Like that is, yeah, it's just some slices of American cheese on top of it. It's fucking terrible.
I would try it. I'll try it once.
Yeah, you could try it, and you might like it. I just think it's horrible because American cheese is so bad.
Yeah, that was St. Louis. They had like a
Provel.
Yeah, that Provel. Yeah, it was like it's just not it.
It's fake.
But you know, it's funny because like even here in Chicago, people rave about Pequods. I don't like Pequod. I would never recommend Pequod.
It's a different style too. I mean, if you like that like caramelized kind of.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm going to Millie's. I'm going to George's. Pequod's is not it for me.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Ketchup and American cheese.
Sounds great.
Are they making that for like 5-year-olds? Because that's like what the audience is for that style.
It sounds very communist era Polish.
Yeah,
that's gross.
I have one other Chicago food question. And there used to be, I saw it on TV a few times, and it made me wistful that I couldn't go there. And it was something called hot dogs. And it used to be all these different kind of style of hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Made with all different kinds of different meats and all that stuff. I believe that's closed now. Did either of you go to that?
Oh, yeah. I was there the last day.
Yeah.
For like 3 hours. Hot dogs used to be by a job of mine, so we would go almost like once a week. But the trick is like usually there was like a line like an hour long, but nobody knew that you could just like call in and get pickup.
Yeah.
You just like cut the line. Doug made. I mean, he made really bespoke sausages in a way that I don't think the city had ever seen before. Like, the first time it's probably everybody's first time having like alligator sausage, or I don't know, Shalana, if you remember any other ones that were.
He had a wild boar one.
Yeah, I mean he also like there was a ban on foie gras.
Yeah.
Gras? I can never say that. In the city of Chicago for a while, and he decided to be like, fuck it, I'm still serving that on it. And yeah, it was a very cultish kind of restaurant, and Doug was a personality. I think Doug was also a big part of the success of it. He was always behind the counter, and if you had not been there in weeks or months, he would always remember your face and your name and ask how you were doing. And
That's your service nerd right there.
yeah, and so he retired. There is a hot Doug stand in Wrigley, in the bleacher section, but you have to have like a special ticket to get access to it. And I think he also does maybe some wholesale sausages through one of the butcher shops now, like his Turbinger or. But anyway, it was more of an experience. It was like the place that he had, and it was fun to go to. And again, he had all these like very chefy toppings on a hot dog, which I think for a lot of people, it was the first time having those type of ingredients. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've had you for damn near 2 hours, Jenny, and you're at the brewery. So, and I know you said you have to work tomorrow. So, I just want to say thank you so much for popping in and hanging with us. And yeah, we'd love to do it again sometime. But thanks for all your knowledge and about sake and beer and food and everything. And another time, I want to talk. Go ahead.
I was just saying the last words. Make sure we get rid of the last words.
Yeah.
oh, geez. We'll have a hot dog
Without ketchup. Without ketchup.
Without ketchup. Yeah. And trust your gut when you go into places, and if the vibe isn't right, then get the heck out of there, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciated this conversation, and let's keep it going. Yep. Another time.
Right. Thank you. One more question. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Vienna. I'm gonna say the Dovetail Vienna, and because I have had it with the Chicago job. No, because what happens is you get the green relish and the sport peppers. You get all the flavors, and then you get the crispiness of the Vienna lager from the Dovetail. There you go. There you go, right there.
I love that answer. I'm gonna go with that one.
And on that note, thanks, Jenny.
All right, thanks everyone. Have a great week.
Good one.
Yes. Cheers.
All right.
Oops, I booted her off, and then she dropped off. So anyway, yeah, that was fun.
Why are you booting people?
No, I wasn't booting her. I just was like, "Oh, bye," and then she cut off, and then she just kicked herself.
But you said you booted her. I didn't say that. You said it.
No, it wasn't not, and I didn't actually boot her, doofus.
You said I booted people. I asked you why. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, that was great. Jenny is. I've been wanting to have her on the show for a while, so it was good to get her on to talk about it. And we got to have our Shalonda here with us at the same time. So how fucking great is that?
Hey.
Yeah, done. Are we doing this time? Right? I can.
As the phrase goes, ladies first.
Oh, what are we doing?
Review time. What did you have to drink?
Oh, remember I had no beer in my fridge at all. So I had a bourbon slushy that I had made, which was amazing. And then I've been sipping on this throughout the show. You probably see me like fill my, pour my glass up like quite a few times.
Yeah.
It's the Barrel Seagrass rye whiskey finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels. And this is amazing.
That sounds like a lot, but it sounds like a lot of good shit. So
yeah, it's really good. It's you can taste it has a spicy sweet finish, which is what I'm digging, and it paired very well in my peach bourbon slushy.
Very, very nice. Greg, I think you had one, but if you want, I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay, red chicken, watermelon, peppercorn.
Yeah. So I had this thing. This thing is a piece of shit.
Just say no.
Just say
it's like the drug campaign. Just say no. Just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no.
So then I had the Pilsner from Clean Sweep, which was from two locals. At a Philly, which is Greg's neighborhood. This was good. It was not crisp, which is what I want out of a Pilsner. So the other thing I had was the Bringing 88s back, which was the Shandy with blood orange and grapefruit. This is really good. Very tasty, very drinkable. But this thing from Working Draft that you gave me, Greg, the Czech style dark lager, that was fucking excellent. That was super good. So cheers to that.
And
so Malort to me is what porters are to me.
I have this mess thing.
Greg, I blame you for that. You know what? Let me say something.
So here we go. So
can we have a moment of honesty?
Here we go.
Honesty. Okay, look, hold on. Because even Chardonnay, even Nene, you know that, right? First of all, we blame you for that. Ain't no way in hell you should have thought that can and said, "Oh, peppercorn and watermelon." What kind of bullshit is that? That's like black people eating chicken with no seasoning. What's wrong with you? You know better. You set yourself up for that.
It was watermelon, though.
I don't care that you're perpetrating stereotype that black people go for anything with watermelon. No, we're not going with that. Come on, now. It's peppercorn and watermelon, Greg.
Greg. Just the disdain on the Greg part you just said there.
Right. Ain't no way, you know
Greg.
what? Ain't no way in hell you can come at me about porters. Yes. Should we talk porters now too?
No.
I can't stand porters. Porters are tasteless brown water.
I had a good one at this brew pub here. It was good.
No, we're not getting off of you on watermelon and peppercorn.
Well, look. It was watermelon, y'all. Like, come on, you try the watermelon.
Stereotype that black people just go for anything with watermelon. You know, but in the same
token, this black person does.
But in the same token, I know I need another bottle of that watermelon brandy. But however, your ass knew better. You set yourself up for that.
There's a little history here, right?
You set yourself up for that.
Y'all do see ABC talking out of both sides of their mouth, though. Y'all saw that, right? Okay, cool.
I'm a black mama. I can multitask.
Y'all saw that. They saw it.
You know better. So tell them, say you know better. You know better.
No, this is your fault, actually.
How is it my fault? Let's hear. I'm not even in Milwaukee, so let me hear.
Okay. This is actually really simple. Okay. I said that I might miss next week, so Doug ran to Shalonda and got her to be co-host. And we didn't need her tonight, Doug, because I was here the whole ass time. So without you reaching out to her, she wouldn't have been able to run me down about my choice for my beverage.
No, that's hold on. We're not gonna do. We're not gonna put that on Doug. You wanna know why?
Oh, we are. We're gonna blame the white guy.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Hold on. Even if Doug had not reached out, Shalonda still watches the show.
Oh, I know.
If I would have saw that shit, I would have still asked you what the hell is wrong with you. That's not Doug's fault.
That's fair. I lost. Yeah, it's over, actually. Right.
But now drink to that.
But I could see it, Greg. I could be like, I'm on vacation. This is weird. Let me fucking give it a shot. What the fuck? Who cares? And I could see that, but like at the same time, are you burning yourself? Not me.
I mean,
don't look like that.
What am I to do here, Doc?
Nothing. Take the
shit.
Look at this guy.
I should have clicked end stream like 5 minutes ago.
And if I pop up in Milwaukee tomorrow, I'm gonna give you shit in person.
Pop up and show a nigga, please.
Maybe we want to Milwaukee tomorrow.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, I gotta stop in Milwaukee anyway to get some more cheese anyway.
Let's go.
With your apple corn drinking ass.
Yes. Look, the crowd's gonna cheer and everything. Yes. All right, Don. You want to talk about so I can get out of the hot seat here? This?
Never get out of the hot seat.
That's
But
true.
okay.
So next week
Matter
is
of fact, let me tweet about it.
all right. So next Friday is my 53rd birthday.
Happy birthday. Early birthday. I'm gonna forget by then, but happy early birthday.
That's all right. Thank you. So we're gonna have Jessica McHugh. She's an author, poet, and all around just super energetic person. So just be prepared for the energy be to cranked up to 11 on this show, and it's gonna be fun, and just it'll be interesting to see where this goes because yeah, she just is a ball of energy and just does these things where she dances, but she's just like, I'm doing this because I want to, and it's just all like a joyous thing, just like fuck it, I'm just doing it. I don't care if anybody sees. So I'm super interested to have her come on and talk about her journey and just everything. So
I just wanted to show ABC what she missed. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something now. I want you to understand something.
But we just got to get you back soon.
I wanted to be there.
One of these years. We just
And
got
I want to go, but I'm saying, look, I'm keeping it real because y'all know I'm about keeping it real, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got the U of I in Urbana-Champaign kindly sent me an email. They said, "Oh, and your bill of $15,761 is due." And that's just one semester for the kid. So I was like, bear on the floor. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Doug, you want to talk about death and kids and college and you empty nester and you have.
Oh, I can talk about that at length.
Man.
My wife and I are going to be paying our kids' undergrad degrees till we die. That is what we will be doing.
Well, see, here's the thing. I have a deal with mine. If you do what you're supposed to do, and you show me those grades, it's gonna get paid. I don't know how it's gonna get paid, probably by the grace of God, but it's gonna get paid. But if you mess up, that bill comes in your name. Just know that's your name, your credit. That's on you. If you don't pay, if you want to go to school and party and don't make the grades and don't do what you're supposed to do, it comes in there, your name. But because last year, her freshman year, I was like, oh, she gonna tweak a little bit. She gonna get down there and party. Yeah. She bought me 4 A's and 1 B. So I had to pay it last year. So this year, so this year I gotta pay it as well.
Yeah. So I look at it like this. So like when my kids are done with college, like my son is done with college and he is working, he has a degree in something, and what he is doing for work is in any way related to that degree. But I also know the way things work now is like he pays a fuck ton of rent and just the way things cost. And I just look at like I can't saddle him with that. Yeah. I can pay that. Now, granted, I'll be paying that for forever, but I look at it like that's my job. Like as a parent, is I'm going to try to make it so that when you're going out into the world, you're just not immediately like, exactly. I have no way out of this.
Now, she gave me some news today that kind of made my heart jump. She's thinking about going the reserve route. Well, my oldest daughter is in the military. She's in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. So she talked to her older sister today about the military route and helping her pay for college, so we can take this burden off. Whew, baby. Hey, I was like, I'm here for it. like I'm here for it. At this point, I'm here for it. Yeah, Mom, we 30 grand a year out of her pocket. I'm here for it. Go ahead and go serve.
Yeah, there's no out of pocket for me. It's all Parent Plus loans. That's where I'm at.
See, here's the thing. I just got all of my loans discharged for whatever reason. Like the guy wiped them all at their zero. So like I didn't want loans for her either. So like I'm literally just paying it out of pocket. There's no loans, so I'm paying it out of pocket.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't afford that because we have 4 kids and
that's right. I can't afford it either. I'm just pretending.
And 3 car payments and just like it's just a. But the thing is, like I was telling my wife, I'm like everybody has debt, and you just have debt. And that's the way the American system works. That's how capitalism works. You have debt. You just fucking pay what you can and work through it the best you can. So that's just how it is.
I'm not with the
and if it's going to be me paying it till I'm 80 and I pay it till I'm 80, well then that's what I do. And then my kids don't have that on top of them. So
yeah. Oh, you're such a good dad. I'm about to put my dogs on only pause to help pay for this tuition at this point.
You know, you could start taking pictures of your feet and shit like that. Maybe you could.
No. Wait, y'all do know Nick. Y'all do know my husband is looking at this stream right here. I'm like, you better not do no shit like that.
Hey, I'm just offering up options, Shalonda. That is all I'm doing.
Huh?
I'm just offering up options. I'm not saying
you about to get me in trouble. I gotta go upstairs in a minute. Quit playing.
And Doug's gonna go upstairs and go to his. Doug's gonna go to the stairs and go to his feet websites. Apparently, I don't know.
I'll go to Joe and be like, "Hey, you know what? You need to start taking pictures of your feet. God damn it, let's
go." I'll cuss you out.
Look,
don't play with me. I gotta go upstairs to mine in a minute. Go playing.
The producer in the back is yelling, "Rap, rap, rap!" What are y'all talking about?
Oh, you can take the pictures of desserts. Oh, I could do that.
OnlyFans. By the way, OnlyFans is not just porn. OnlyFans is like exclusive content, like Patreon. You could do anything you want on there.
Look, I made some peach muffins.
Really, Doug?
Yeah, it's true.
When was the last time you were on OnlyFans, Doug?
Never. I've never been on OnlyFans. I just know a few people who don't actually do porn and they actually use it as exclusive content in there.
I'm only asking because you seem to know what's on there. I just had to ask.
You can ask all you want, sir.
Okay.
Well, maybe I need to start taking pictures of my desserts.
Right.
Of the ones I actually bake, not mine, but not me, but my desserts that I actually bake.
You probably make more with your feet, though. I'm just.
I do have pretty feet, but y'all ain't look here now.
Doug is the one who brought this shit up.
Y'all not gonna get in trouble with my husband. Let me get off this goddamn live. I'm gone.
But they're feet. It's not.
I don't care.
I
don't care. No.
Why is it any different than dessert?
Y'all even get me in trouble with. Y'all not gonna get me in trouble.
Just blame me.
Not gonna get me in trouble. I'm not doing it.
All right, y'all.
Blame it on
it's always fun hanging out with ABC, isn't it, Doug?
Always.
Great. That's why ABC is Doug's go-to. The second I'm out, Doug's like, I'm conquering the ABC.
I love that.
Literally that second.
Like, you can hit me up anytime. Whenever Greg is out, hit me up. Like, look. Oh, shit. Look. What's up? Look at this. No. He came through. Was like, no.
He committed to Destiny Child on you. No.
Look, and as a dutiful wife, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna listen to Greg. No, Doug.
No, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. That's a big.
He said
that's a lesson to learn here.
He was like, no, we're not doing that. This has been funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Y'all wildin'. I didn't do shit. This is on y'all.
You can blame me. It's fine.
Yeah, blame Doug. Like, man, how you Doug, I jumped on because you said that he wasn't going to be here and I was going to be a co-host.
Mhm.
Which is cool. How you going to try to get me in trouble with my husband on the show?
Hey, I would like to explicitly say that was my dumb idea and was not at all serious.
Oh my God.
What, the feet? We're back to the feet.
I'm not saying anything more. We're done with that. We're
Why you
moving
getting
on.
me in trouble?
Look, I'm just saying it's all your fault, Doug. That's it.
That's totally fine. I accept responsibility for my actions.
It's almost literally the logo.
Wait, no, they just
Oh.
I'm coming, babe.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Thanks, ABC. It's
Thank
always
you so
fun. Doug, thanks for booking another great guest.
Yeah.
And we'll see y'all next week with Jessica, right?
Yep, correct.
All right.
Thank you, ABC. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yep.
Cheers.